It's extreme supplements for extreme athletes available at GNC stores nationwide. Jardine, 6 years the elder of the highly touted Mike Whitehead. Will we see the real Mike Whitehead here this evening?
When the action begins, our referee in charge of this contest is Steve Mazzagatti.
So Steve Mazzagatti, our referee, and I have a feeling that Iron Mike Whitehead is going to look for the early knockout. He is known to have hands of steel, also good wrestling skills, but he may swing for the fences early. Jardine and Whitehead meet in the octagon here at Mandalay Bay.
I had always heard great things about Mike Whitehead, and I was a little disappointed watching that fight. You know, he looked a little lethargic against Rashad, and Rashad is no joke. Rashad is an excellent athlete. He's a very good wrestler. He put on a great fight, but it wasn't the Mike Whitehead that I had heard of. And now that you find out about the staph infection, you find out that he went into that severely compromised. We're going to get to see the real Mike Whitehead tonight, I hope.
I mean, and this was a heavyweight competitor in the Ultimate Fighter #2, Joe, that actually was outworking cardio-wise the little guys. And there's the double leg and the great wrestling skills of Mike Whitehead. But he was supposed to be the most fit of all the athletes going into that competition.
That was the knock on him.
Now again,
nice takedown.
An Iowa guy, you know, Medford, Oregon, now out of Salt Lake City, but in with the Iowa guys, and known as a very good wrestler is Mike Whitehead, looking to pass guard here. Matt Hughes actually within our listening distance, yelling at Whitehead to go to pass the guard.
Keith Jardine has excellent guard. He has an excellent guard. He also has excellent takedown defense. My good friend Tate Fletcher's worked out with him over at Greg Jackson's camps, and he had nothing better to say. Excuse me, nothing but good things to say about Keith Jardine.
Gonna try to take the leg again. Now again, you've talked to me before, Joe, that this is extremely exhausting though, when you're trying to make that opponent go down and fighting so hard to get another takedown.
Well, I'm sure Mike Whitehead's going to be in much better condition than what we saw him on the television show. I mean, he's an MFS elite, you know, former Militech fighting system. That's what they used to call it. Now the guys all in Iowa call themselves the MFS elite because apparently Pat has opened up a bunch of affiliate schools and they want to kind of separate from it. But they're all in incredible shape. They're all in great shape. They're all great athletes, great wrestlers, and tough guys to work out with. So I don't think we're going to have a conditioning problem out of Mike Whitehead tonight.
Well, Mike Whitehead is almost past the guard on a couple of occasions, but a good job done by Jardine to keep that, look at it, still keep that right leg at least intact so he can't pass and get a mount.
Yeah, that is what Tate said about him. He said he had a really excellent guard, very difficult to pass, good butterfly sweeps, and very good at standing up. You should see it right here. He's got an overhook on the right side. Mike Whitehead's putting weight on him. He's going to sweep him.
Mike applying great pressure up against the fence, which takes away some of the ability to work and swivel the hips for Keith Jardine.
Mike Whitehead's doing a really good job of keeping him down. Keeps rolling and trying to go for it.
Are you concerned at all with the way that Mike's weight has fluctuated? Do you look for all of a sudden all his energy to be sapped?
You know what? I would never second guess Billy Rush. That guy knows how to do it. I don't know how these guys dry themselves out like that. I don't understand it, but they do it. I mean, it can't be healthy. I mean, it's a tremendous amount of weight we're talking about losing, and most of it's water. You know, but if you replenish the electrolytes, apparently, and you do it properly, you can perform at least close to your optimum fighting level.
Well, a good job done here in the first round by Mike Whitehead. He really went all around the circles of his teammates and extended teammates to prepare this fight. Salt Lake City with Jeremy Horn, Cincinnati with Rich Franklin and George Giselle. A lot of the guys there, and then Iowa with the Militech team, and back up to his feet again is Keith Jardine.
Good job by Keith Jardine standing up here. Mike Whitehead expending a whole lot of energy, and it's really not working out for him. He hasn't been able to do any damage to Keith on the ground. He hasn't been able to pass his guard, and Keith's been able to stand up. Nice knee in there by Whitehead.
Again, Tim Sylvia always talks about training with the greatest heavyweights in the sport, and Whitehead has those hands and the ability to throw, but Jardine doing a good job just kind of, you know, weathering the early Whitehead storm, if you will.
He's got an excellent 1-2, Keith Jardine. He's got a really good straight right hand. He really hurt Rashad really bad on the show with that. Did a good job with it also against Kerry Shaw.
And you know he's working ground skills in Albuquerque, especially with, although he's a smaller fighter, Diego Sanchez around.
Yeah, that is just a great camp. That's one of the best up-and-coming camps in all of MMA right now.
You know, and the camp really has said to us that they think that Keith Jardine hasn't shown his true potential, even in victory over Shaw. And remember, it was leg kicks that finally brought Shaw down. But even in that victory, they say he hasn't shown his full potential, Joe.
Well, you know, it takes a long time for a lot of guys to get over the octagon flurries. The early fights in the octagon, it's such a nerve-wracking experience.
The former bounty hunter, Keith Jardine. There's a price for victory tonight if he can explode through Mike Whitehead and put him right there. Yep. Mike tried to go with a straight kick and caught another one. Jardine's hands look good right now. He's getting the better of the stand-up. Whitehead can't take the punch, though, I'll tell you what.
He's taking a good punch, but he's shying away from these shots. It looks like Jardine's imposing his will around a little bit in the stand-up.
And a good finish to round number 1 for the Dean of Mean, Keith Jardine.
All right, let's take a look at the first takedown. See Mike Whitehead pressing him up against the fence. Now here's a nice shot of a good right hand Keith Jardine landed.
He's looking, you know, for you to close the distance and then close his eyes and swing a bomb. So get him to work on that. You know, close the distance a bit, wait for him to swing and then back out again, then come back in. You know what I'm saying? That's fine. Your stand-up's looking fine. On the ground, don't start punching from like a half guard or in his guard.
Get
Under him,
position.
get all the way past that. Then you'll have some time to punch. As it is, you're only getting off one.
Hey, gentlemen.
Very intelligent advice in the corners, especially from Jeremy Horn.
Jeremy Horn working diligently to get Mike prepared for this fight. The lovely Rochelle tells us it is round number 2 of this light heavyweight matchup.
Give me a towel.
Little moisture going to be scooped up in front of the blue corner. Pat Miletich shouting out some final instructions to Whitehead as they prepare for round number 2. Here we go.
Here we go.
You know, a lot of guys got pretty tight in the house, and Mike said, you know, we saw each other the first couple of days, but we didn't, and not in a bad way, but we didn't hang out a ton in the house during the taping of The Ultimate Fighter 2.
It's got to be hard for a lot of those guys to become close friends, to go to war with each other in a cage.
How about in the first series when everybody was shocked around the world when all of a sudden they had teammates fighting teammates?
Yeah, pretty crazy.
You build all that chemistry and that bonding, and certainly you're right about that.
It is an individual sport. At the end of the line, it's always going to be you and some other guy in the cage. Everything else is just support.
Jardine's doing a nice job coming forward with those combinations.
Yeah, he's got a good straight left, straight right combination. A good 1-2. And he's a tall guy. Nice jab.
Mike's heavy-handed, but Mike does have to get inside a bit.
Well, he was unsuccessful in imposing his will in the first round with the takedowns. Jardine kept getting up and couldn't pass Jardine's guard. And standing up, it looks like Jardine has the advantage here.
And that's one thing we have heard so much about the striking of Mike Whitehead, but at least in the UFC, we have really yet to see it because he was so lethargic during the fight against Rashad during the taping of the show. So we would like to see it here tonight. Matt Hughes yelling for him to get to the knees, but yet the takedown works successfully as well.
He's got him, again, you see Jardine's got him in guard. He's got those really good butterflies. Good control from the bottom, holding him down, not allowing Mike to get off anything. As long as he's in this position, he can elevate Mike's hips and move him around a little. Mike's not going to land too much. He might be able to catch him with a sneaky elbow or something like that. But look, you see, Keith Jardine's very adept at getting those legs back inside and retaining guard.
And in this position, he's not pinned up against the fence, which is, Joe, going to allow his hips much more flexibility and mobility.
Yeah, definitely. And you'll see if he does get close to that, he'll spin away from it. I mean, that's one of the things that all those guys work on. He's in a half guard now. Mike is trying to pass, but you see Keith is so good at getting his leg in there. There he goes again. Bang. Look at that. He's going for a heel hook. Spun out of it. Keith back to his feet.
Good job done by Jardine as Whitehead unsuccessfully tried to pass the guard 2 or 3 different times in that exchange.
I'm very impressed with Keith Jardine here. And, you know, we also have to think there's a lot of pressure on Mike Whitehead here. Mike Whitehead was touted as, you know, being the top guy on Matt Hughes' team, and when it came time to fight, he didn't perform. Yeah, he didn't perform up to his potential, and so now he knows that he has to. He let a lot of people down. That's a lot of pressure.
Right now, though, on the judges' scorecards, although Whitehead hasn't put a lot of punishment on Jardine on the ground, he has, though, controlled the action.
Sort of. Not on the feet, definitely.
No,
Jardine is definitely controlled on the feet, and he's back up again. Mike Whitehead's been taking him down, but he hasn't been able to do anything once he gets him there. He hasn't been able to land any effective punches, and he hasn't even been able to pass Keith Jardine's guard.
Bloodied up above the left eye is Iron Mike Whitehead.
Iron Mike Whitehead is going to have to do something, and he's going to have to do something drastic.
Former real-life bounty hunter and bail bondsman in the state of California, two-sport star in high school wrestling, and an all-star football linebacker. And I would think you would imagine that Keith Jardine was a linebacker.
Big dude.
Yep. Whitehead, three-time All-American wrestler and Abu Dhabi qualifier.
We also have to wonder whether or not Mike Whitehead is tired now from the weight loss. I mean,
that's what I asked you before.
Yeah, we have to think about that now because he's looking a little lethargic. He's got to know that this is a really close fight. He's got to turn it on if he wants to ensure a victory, and he doesn't seem to be doing that. He seems to be kind of laying back, and when Jardine's pressing the action, he's moving away a little. See? That to me tells me that he doesn't feel like it doesn't feel like he can handle him standing up, or he doesn't feel like he has the conditioning to go after him and try to take him down.
Oh, good straight left. See, but Whitehead, as you talked about, and this is really a development and the realization that your fatigue is starting to set in. Wasn't throwing combinations, Joe. He was one punching out, one punching out.
Yeah, the realization that your fatigue is starting to set in is a sickening feeling. You know, especially after coming off of that fight with Rashad, you know, being touted as being the best guy on Matt's team, falling short, a lot of pressure on him.
Mike Whitehead had his head down there, and Jardine almost caught him with a knee, and Jardine trying to push the pace here at the end of round number 2.
Jardine looks to be much the fresher fighter here. All right, let's take a look at the replays. Here you see a good left hook, right hand by Mike Whitehead, and a good counter by Keith Jardine. Right there, nice left hook by Whitehead. And a good little right hand from Keith Jardine.
Mike, everything you
And
throw
that seems to be
that
the
left
right
hook,
hand
he's
that
crawling and
caused
dropping his right
that
hand.
cut above Mike Whitehead's left eyebrow. Not too bad, not a bad cut. We've seen a lot worse.
Close your eyes if you want, but fucking swing that left hook at the end of everything. Let that left hook go.
That's why he's winning this fight. Okay, second down, let's go.
Do you agree with the assessment in the corner of Jardine that he's winning this fight?
Yes, I think he's definitely winning it. He's definitely won the second round, and I think the first round was pretty close. You could have given it to him, but I think he definitely won the second round. He has a big advantage in the stand-up so far from where I see it.
Bring it on, come on.
Randy Couture watching in the locker room.
This is do or die for Mike Whitehead. This is the third round. So far, he's been able to get Keith Jardine down, but not do anything to him. On his feet, Keith Jardine has been winning the stand-up battle.
Now, Whitehead's got to try to do something differently here, especially, Joe, if the judges agree with Jardine's corner in your assessment. It looks like he is starting to swing a little bit more for the fences. Oh, good kick. And now Mike Whitehead driving forward on Jardine, but Jardine seemed to handle it very well.
Yeah, good combination by Whitehead. Jardine just looked over at his corner and smiled because he stuck his tongue out because he's reaching for a Kimura on Mike Whitehead's left arm. If he gets that and Mike Whitehead can't get this takedown, Keith is going to drop down and he's going to shove his left leg in between Mike's legs and try to sweep him with the Kimura. He doesn't have it fully locked in, I see, because he's punching with his other arm. All right, so Kyle Parisian is fantastic at that. It's one of his signature moves.
Now Mike is really, at least it seems, trying to push up the pace and accelerate his attacks here.
Nice right hand by Keith Jardine. Mike's got to realize he's got to do something. He hasn't been doing any damage in this round or the last one.
Good straight kick a moment ago by Jardine. Jardine seems very comfortable on his feet.
Yeah, he definitely does. Looks much improved. He looks better than he looked in the Kerry Shaw fight.
And that's what his camp talked about. He's saying still we haven't seen his potential. Looking out to take a page out of teammate Matt Hughes' book. Didn't get the big slam, but nonetheless gets Jardine back down to the mat.
Good takedown by Whitehead, but again, he's stuck in Keith Jardine's guard. So even though he is on top, and he did take him down, he's not doing anything with it. Keith Jardine has been pounding him from the bottom. He's got a good butterfly guard in place. He's in the half guard right now, but Keith has got really flexible legs. Watch how he gets his leg underneath him, gets an overhook or an underhook, either one, and then stands up. He's got to be careful of the guillotine while he does this, though. Mike Whitehead has his right arm wrapped around Keith's neck.
Watch your head down there.
And he's got to be careful that Mike doesn't put him in a guillotine. Nice knee by Mike Whitehead. He's allowed to knee as long as two hands are above the ground. It's when one hand goes down or both hands are down that he's not allowed.
And that's what Steve Mazzagatti yelled, yes. Joe. He said, be careful there. He's still on the ground.
Yes.
And you saw Whitehead then step away from those knees.
Another nice right hand by Keith Jardine.
Well, octagon control has gone to Mike Whitehead here, and that is one of the judges' criteria. Oh. Left high kick, but Jardine able to again do the blocking. Trying to begin with the left.
Keith Jardine seems very confident.
It's amazing after these guys win or lose survive the torture, if you will, of the Ultimate Fighter series. They seem to go back to their camps. We've seen a lot of the stars, if you will, of the reality shows, Joe. They seem to go back to their camps and improve drastically after that. And I think a lot of that is mental.
Sure, it's a huge learning experience just to be able to train with Matt Hughes and Rich Franklin. I mean that's insane. I mean that's a fantastic opportunity for a young fighter. Just that alone, being in that camp with all those different fighters, everyone's got the same goal, they're all training for it. And then to get through it and to learn from it, and then to have a fight on television and learn from that. I mean, Keith Jardine has he's grown quite a bit.
And in addition, I think all of a sudden you may have a guy who thinks he can be an Ultimate Fighter, who all of a sudden knows he can be an Ultimate Fighter, and that changes everything every day.
Confidence is everything, and this game is 90% mental. Nice leg kick by Keith Jardine.
Under a minute remains in our third and final round. This light heavyweight matchup. And it is, at least at this point, on the way to the judges' scorecard.
Nice going for the takedown one more time. Keith doing a good job of stuffing it.
Based on effective striking, grappling, aggression, and octagon control is the criteria used by the judges.
Excellent takedown defense there by Keith Jardine. Mike Whitehead had a leg up, just couldn't take him down.
They're toe-to-toe here with 15 seconds remaining. Combinations continue. Whitehead backing up. Jardine trying to finish with a flurry. Jardine has finished with the flurry in the first, second, and now here in the third round.
Excellent job by Keith Jardine.
Good fight, man.
This one will go to the judges' scorecards. Jardine looked very comfortable with his stand-up skills. Kickboxing is one of his specialties. Working out of the camp that Diego Sanchez works out of in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And Jardine really was the man who was able to dominate with the right hand. And another thing that they always talk about is finish with a flurry. Leave an indelible impression in the minds of the judges at the end of the round. And Jardine did that in round 1, round 2, and right here, as you witness, in round number 3. And that may very well be the difference when we find out from Bruce Buffer who is victorious in this light heavyweight matchup of Ultimate Fighter 2 stars. Whitehead, again, well documented. about 285, 290 pounds just 10 weeks ago. Bruce Buffer has the official decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds of action, we go to the judges' scorecards. All 3 judges have scored this contest 29-28 for the winner by unanimous decision, Keith, the Dean of Mean, Jardine.
So it was close on all 3 judges' scorecards, but nonetheless, it is a unanimous decision. Here's Joe.
All right, I am here with Keith, the Dean of Mean Jardine. Congratulations. Now, Keith, this was a fight that a lot of people thought was going to be the final fight in the Ultimate Fighter finale. Have you been preparing yourself for this match for a while?
Yeah, I've been training for this for 8 weeks, but you know what? I'm sure you guys got a better show now because, man, Mike's got in shape. He's working a lot of stuff. He's a lot better fighter than he was then, and so am I, so.
Now, this is your first fight in the octagon at 205. Is that where we expect to see you in the future?
Yeah, man, I'll fight whatever, but 205, I'm real strong here, and I'm very comfortable here.
All right, excellent victory. Congratulations. Keith Jardine, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, I just say thanks God for the opportunity here. Say hi to my family back home, and most of all, my trainers, Mike Wiemeljohn and Greg Jackson. And I'll see you tonight at House of Blues, I guess, huh?
Sounds good, dude. Keith Jardine, folks.
All right, the Dean of Mean, Keith Jardine, victorious here inside the octagon, relieved when the decision went in his favor.